Hello everybody, we're testing. Let's see what happens. And in the meantime, I'm looking out of the window at the clouds that I'm going to need in the painting eventually.
Can you hear her, Kenny?
No, not yet. I'm going to sign out and go back in again.
Yeah, do that. Listen to her just on Facebook and then call back in a minute or two.
What do you mean call back in?
Hang up on this phone and make sure you can hear her on Facebook.
Whoa. She's live.
Talk, Mama.
Okay. In between drinking hot water. Okay.
Okay,
Can
Greg
you hear
can
me?
hear it, so it's all good.
Perfect, yeah.
Okay, so just stay on the phone, Ken.
And I will say welcome when you raise your hand.
Okay, and Joe can hear me. Okay, I'm going to be turning over the voice to Mom and to Kenny.
Can Eileen hear us?
Can you hear me if I talk?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome everybody. In 2 minutes. So I'll get my notes ready. I'm all prepared. The painting number 26 is already on my wall.
Jody, you can hear me?
I can, but I'm wondering if people can hear you on the
I
show.
don't think they can.
Then don't worry.
Joe and Greg, can you hear Kenny? Kenny, talk.
Okay, I'm saying something to see if you can hear me.
Joe Tripp says yes.
Can Eileen hear?
Eileen's not on yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you can hear Kenny.
Joe, you're wonderful.
Here I am, yes.
Good. Okay.
Joe, don't trip because you're valuable to us.
Okay.
That was a terrible joke.
No, Joe is wonderful. You just raised your finger, which means
1 minute.
1 minute to go. I'll quickly take some more water. Welcome, everybody. The title of this painting is Orchard Street because I'm still on Orchard Street. And actually, it's about one family, the family of Irving Adler. When I first finished working in one set of paintings of Orchard Street, first of all, Orchard Street, if at that time, if I could have painted 10 more, maybe 100 more of that one block, each would have been different from the others. It's not just that people were crowded together, it's that they were a unit who functioned like a giant group of waves in the ocean. And when I started to look, when I finished one painting, and I started to look for another spot to work in, I stopped in front of a place that had shutters because they were away for vacation. So I thought, great, I can work here. And immediately somebody came with boxes and bundles and stands and said, sorry, when they're on vacation, I get to use their space. Move, lady. Somebody else passed by and I said, could I paint in front of your store? And he said, only if you pay rent. And it was so difficult for me because I was so dependent. There was no way I could do this without being on the street itself. Photographs could never capture my Orchard Street. And Suddenly I saw Irving approaching, and I thought, if he says no, I'll have to give up. My dreams can't be done. And I was so sad, and I said to him, could I paint in front of your store? And he said, sure. If you need anything, just ask. And I began. I need to explain that family to you because they all took over. Joni, can you pull it out of the... Yeah, you could do it from the book.
The book? Okay.
Yeah. Because you see, one day I received a letter from a publishing company which was publishing which was publishing a book for Paul Kaplan, who was one of the sons of that family. And they printed the painting, and that's better than showing it to you and anything else. Okay, it is. I think it's clearer to see. Okay, so let me begin about the people. Okay, Max and Eva Adler began their clothing business somewhere around the turn of the century. No one in the family remembers the exact date, and so much has happened in the street that no one remembers it either, but they all remember the very hard times. When Max passed away, their son Irving, in front of the store, wearing a white shirt. Can you see him?
Wait, let me try something different.
Okay. Give Joni a little while.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, with the white shirt. Oh, this makes it so easy because of the book. Wearing a white shirt. Took over the family business with his wife, leaning over the outdoor stand, wearing a blue top, light skirt. They ran it with the help of Eva, who was in the foreground wearing a blue sweater, dark skirt, and her sister, Tilly Mendelson, sitting in front of the store, yellow top, dark skirt. This painting was done 2 years after Irving Adler passed away. And on it I moved reality around a bit and integrated the generations. Eva's and Max's granddaughter and her family are shown as they were when I met them 2 years later. They walk into the middle of the painting, slightly to the right. Leslie, the granddaughter, holding Stacy's hand, and her husband, Dr. Paul Kaplan, holding Amy in his arms, with Julie following behind. Now, in 1979, as I write this story, they have a fourth child. This is more than a painting of Orchard Street to me. It's a painting of a group of people who mean very much to me. Do you know what Tilly and Eva did for me? Because it was very hot. I was young in those days, so sitting forever in the heat was possible, but very difficult. So they set up a cot for me in the store. And every once in a while, one of them would come running out with watermelon or a cold drink and say, it's time to lie down. And I loved them so much. Just speaking of them makes me want to cry. Anyway, we became very close friends. They came to our house in Long Island. I love them so much. I'm choking up when I think about them. Now let's go to other people. There is Trianos Genis. On the street he was called John. He came from Greece in 1968, and he and his family have been in many of my Orchard Street paintings. Directly over him in a dark suit is a man whom I have known since I made my first drawing on Rivington Street from the window of the Romanian synagogue. Well, he is the Shabbos. Can you see him? He's wearing a dark suit. You see, when I began, I didn't have the courage to sit on a street corner. So I painted inside of places where nobody could see me. And I went into that place, into that synagogue. And I drew people. It was a Romanian synagogue, and he was the shamus or caretaker. To the left of him, in a striped blue and white shirt, is Magda Hedy, who worked for the Adlers. To the right of him is Pedro O'Neill, who has been here for over 20 years and works for Robbins. Robbins is in the middle of the painting on the left, and its owner, Irwin, a lot of Irwins there, gave me much of the information for this painting, since when I began it, the Adler business had already been sold. Robbins was begun by Irwin's father, Joseph, in 1932. At that time it was on Grand Street. When they moved the business to Orchard Street, the Adlers were already there. The two boys would play ball in the evening. That doesn't exist anymore. The streets have become very dangerous. And at night, there is nobody in the streets anymore. Children couldn't play anymore. The two bays would play ball on the street on Sundays because on that day no push carts were allowed on the street. Stores opened after sundown on Sabbath and closed around 11 or 12 at night. After the stores closed, people came out to the street, and it was a world in itself. When the Essex Street Market opened, the push carts were forced to be in a closed market area, and things were never the same after that. When people speak of the push carts, in the Adler painting, which I spoke about last week, I think it was, 2 weeks ago, painting number 24, there is a push cart which was supposedly the last left on the Lower East Side, and a museum ended up buying it. So you're all hearing ancient history. I think if you were to go on Orchard Street, and by the way, my children promised me that the moment the pandemic is over, they're going to drive me to Orchard Street and see it as it is now. I don't know if I can bear to be there when everything is glass and beautiful and no more tenements. But we'll see. And I think the wonderful group that I've now joined, which I spoke about, of the Lower East Side, I think maybe they'll remind us of more. Okay, now let's see.
Mom, should I read the comments?
Yes,
Read the comments.
because I love them.
Let me read the comments. There's lots of beautiful, beautiful comments. Okay, so Hernan Poza and Joe Tripp are watching.
I'm so happy.
Marilu Bilbre de Rodriguez says, hi, Hedy. And Michael Albert says, hi, Hedy. And Joe Tripp says, hi. And Fran Rosenberg says that we can hear you. And a few people say that. And then Joe Tripp says, love you. And he comments that you made a bad joke about him. And I agreed and said that it's best not to give up your day job. And Julie Williams said, hi, Hedy, Joni, and Ken. Hedy, I hope you had a nice Mother's Day.
I did.
And Hernan is watching. Uh-huh. Cammy says, it's Hedy night. And Sandy says, love you, Aunt Hedy. And
Oh.
Hernan says, much love from Hernan and Christopher. And Elena says, good to see you, my beautiful Hedy. Greg is watching. Sandy says, love you from Sandy and Ismail. And says, love you, Joni, feel better. And Ed Weedman says, what a beautiful cover of the book.
It is.
Ed Almqvist is actually awake in Sweden and says, hi, Hedy. And Eileen Cutler says, I joined late, but I am here. And Shirley Baker says, it's great to see you. Joe Tripp wanted to know the title of the book.
A Child's Odyssey.
You shouldn't talk, Tony. Let me just...
A Child's Odyssey.
A Child's Odyssey.
And Eileen said, what an amazing painting. And Martha Bilski said, hi, Hedy.
Yes, all of you can.
And Sandy says this is a book. And Eileen says life after the pandemic will happen. And Tammy says, will you paint Orchard Street even if it is no longer grand and vibrant?
You know, Kenny came up with a wonderful thought. He said, someday we should do an exhibit with photographs taken at the moment and show what it is now next to the painting. We have so many dreams, so I have to live a long time, okay? And wouldn't it be wonderful if all of you who have literally become my family, if we could all meet and have a reunion when the pandemic is over on Orchard Street. It would have to be on the corner of Orchard and Delancey, because when Joni drove me into the city to do the first painting, and she said, where do I stop? And the corner of the Muscat store of Delancey and Orchard, something in me said right there. And when I start talking about the Book of the Tree, we're going to understand, and maybe through all of you I will get the understanding that there are strings. You know, when you take a tapestry, we used to frame needle points in our gallery. And when you look in the front, there is scene, a beautiful scenery, but the back was just twisted of threads. Maybe we are threads. And maybe Orchard Street is the front of it. Anyway, let me go back.
Mom, but before you do, Mom, can I finish reading the comments?
Oh, goodness, yes.
There's more. Okay, beautiful. So Sandy actually posted a link to be able to see the book. And Rhoda said, this is Rhoda. And I am here with my 100-year-old mother watching.
Oh, my goodness.
And Joe Tripp, so that's awesome. And Joe Tripp said, thanks, Sandy. And Eileen reached out to Kent in Sweden and said hello.
Oh.
And Julie Williams said, party with Hedy on Orchard Street post-pandemic. And Eileen said, keep those dreams coming. And Julie says, please do. Live a long time. And Joe Tripp says, my bags are packed. And I say, it's a plan.
Can we really think of this seriously? Of when the pandemic is over, all of us with masks or without masks, whatever is needed, celebrate Orchard Street.
Sandy says it's wonderful. Marie-Lou says it's a wonderful idea. Sandy says, miss you so much.
There'll be hundreds of us by then. Do you know, one day I'm going to sit down and count the people I've painted, because there must be a few thousand, because I did so many paintings. I've got to stop. I'm going to cry. Okay. Let me get to talk again. Okay. If you can read the story of the people, let me stop, because it's on the wall. Okay? And if you go ahead and take my get my website, which Jessie had done, these stories are in every painting. And then you get like Tammy, who began it all for me by asking those questions. And Linda, who said to me, why Orchard Street? Of all the places you've painted, why Orchard Street? And Linda, I have an answer. It's because mentally I am a refugee because literally I was one. And Orchard Street is made of refugees of every color. If they came from the South, which didn't allow black people to have rights and freedoms, if it came from Europe where people were chased out, wherever. Thank you for being mine and understanding. Okay, I wrote notes of what I was going to be doing, and a lot are going to deal with our tree. Okay, I put here, then bring out the tree. Tell of the decision of reaching out for as much as we can. Tell of roots underground. Read parts of book on trees. Okay. First of all, I just want to go back to Sandy and Ismail, who gave me a Mother's Day gift by messenger of these incredible fruits in a beautiful cup. But the fruits look like flowers. And Joni and I ate some immediately, but then I shared when Jessie drove me home today from my exercise class. And, oh, are they beautiful. Speak of art. Imagine who came up with the idea of taking a strawberry, coating it with chocolate, putting it on a stick, and it ending up for me. Okay, I have to talk about the hidden life of trees. It has made me think so much. First of all, it speaks of the body of a tree so easily as if I could translate into your and my bodies of humans. The tree is made so as if every part is claiming its own area, and if you botch up that area, they fight you. If there's a part of the tree that needs quiet, and you keep running around, it does what it did to me. It gave me a stroke. It gave me lupus, because I used to rush so much. And because of this book, I'm not rushing so much. Think a minute. Which part of your body are you abusing? There's another wonderful book I'm reading right now by Dr. Lawrence Lashan. And he said, if you get illnesses, check out your life and see what patterns do you have in your life that hurt the body. That body is going to give you disease. And so, as I do my tree, and remember, Mary Lou, you are one of the branches, you said, and I'm one of the branches with you. And let's, every one of us, join in with the branches. Janine, when I said to you, I'm not a tree, I have no roots. I don't have roots. I'm a refugee. Mentally, I am a refugee. You could transport me from Orchard Street, where I never lived, but I fit in. You can transfer me to the stock exchange, when I'm completely ignorant about stocks and bonds, or math, or computers. But the people adopted me and accepted me. I look for the human in you, and I'm looking for the human in this tree. You're going to watch it growing, because I don't yet know what it'll become. Let me look at the watch.
Can I read some more comments?
Yes.
You have about 8 minutes.
Beautiful. Okay, so will be there. Sandy said, please let's do this. Laura Silver pointed out that we would need a band to celebrate the International Hedy Day on Orchard Street. And Julie said, oh my, I just got goosebumps envisioning a reunion of all the people featured in Hedy's paintings. And Joe Tripp said the Norman Rockwell Museum does that occasionally, and it's a really wonderful thing. It's really cool. And Tammy Smith said the tree is looking awesome. And Laura Silver said thank you. No, Laura Silver said wow. Similar ideas about the sanctity, entityness of trees appear in Braiding Sweetgrass, a book I have been listening to. Hedy, you are so wise. And Julie says, Hedy, your tree is stunning. It's kind of magical watching it evolve each week. That is so true. And I asked for a bit closer with this amazing painting, which is just what Jody is doing. And Johnny Santana said the tree is looking amazing, Hedy. Love. And Sandy said the tree is beautiful. And Joe Tripp said the tree reminds me of the 100-year-old apple trees on our farm, shaped by time and weather. And Eileen says, thanks for the close-ups of the painting, Jody. Good camera work.
You know what Jesse said? Jesse said that when the painting is all the way finished, he's going to make a photograph of it, and anybody can just look at their computer and get it out of it, because magic is done because of this awesome everything that technology has done. Let me say something. It's not me who's doing this painting. Please really hear me. One of the wonderful friends I made, it's in painting 69, I think, I'm not quite sure, but it's one of Grant Street. One of the people in it, Teresa, what she said was, and I can't forget that, I forgot the exact words, but she was interviewing me for a course she was taking, where you interview people. And she said, Hedy, I don't understand. When I interview people, they talk about themselves. And you don't. You keep talking about other people. And my answer was, because I am all those people. I'm not a person. I'm what you all have given me. So it can't be a Hedy Day. It has to be an Orchard Street or New York Day. Because everything you're getting from me is repeated back from other people. Janine, this is why I have no roots. I belong to all of you, and you belong to me. I don't know how to say it, but so it can't ever be a Hedy Day. Okay, let's go back to him. Him, her, I don't know. What we're beginning to find out is that every one of us is made up of so many entities. There is no single person. We are what other people have wanted us to be or have not wanted us to be. We are the ones, each one of us has picked threads and are born with other threads. And either we use them or we don't. But for me, this experience is beyond words, because as long as I painted, I got to know individual people. But suddenly, as you can see from the comments, you're all identifying with the tree and with Orchard Street. Wait till I get you to the stock exchange. Wait till I get you to Fifth Avenue. Wait till I get you to the markets. Only 3 minutes left. Let's see if there's anything I forgot. Probably yes. Yes. Find out what you're doing against your bodies. This tree has been cut over and over and over again by wind, by snow, by everything. So have you. I was just reading about Mean Girls, that every child in the background, they said that boys are not quite as mean, but girls are. And remember the story of Mantequilla? Of when they were teasing the chubby girl, and I couldn't say anything because I was so afraid if I would speak up, they would call me Mantequilla because I was chubby too. Do me a favor. For these paintings, be kind to people. If you're young or old, if you hate some relatives and you love others, stop. Make the world better. That's the gift you're going to give me. Because I've gotten to know so much when you speak to me. And all of us carry little wounds, like the tree. Reach out. Reach out. And Kenny and I decided we want to ask people to write to us. Like John Terracusa, when he wrote that about the temple last week. What a gift to give me. I didn't know these stories. If you hear of anything or see anything, write it to us. I would love to do one thing. I would love to, one day, just read what you write me. If it is about something you've experienced in a building or a person, enlarge the world for me. 1 minute to go. I love you all. And thank you.
Grandma, there are some more comments. Can I read them?
I'd love it, yes.
Well, first of all, I wish you could see the screen because there's just this explosion of hearts and thumbs up and smiles. Just a complete explosion pouring out of people in a consistent stream. So just so you know that. And then Sandy said a tree is a joy that will last forever. I don't remember where I read that or who said it. And Sandy mentioned some friends, Sharon and Joanne, and I hope you see this. And Martha said, you just said it. And Shirley Baker said that she ordered the book from her library and she can't wait to read it.
Oh, I'm so glad. And Shirley, the painting that you'll be spoken about, I believe is 93 of a road upstate. And that's when I'll speak about the Bakers.
Excuse me? So Joe Tripp said, sweet presentation tonight. Thank you. And Marilu said, you always teach us something. And Sandy said, I could listen to you for hours. And Lorraine said in all capital letters, Hedy. And Julie Williams said, love you, Hedy, thank you. And Sandy said, I mentioned it to some friends. And Lorraine said, Hedy, I was late, but 5 minutes of you is powerful and invigorating. And again, tons of hearts and love.
Thank you. And thank you, all of you, who are helping to make this possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you.